Awesome. Well, thank you everybody for attending. My name is Steve Drost. I'm one of the co-founders, CEO, the shiny object guy over at Quivr. Give a quick background about the firm, quick background on me, and then I'll give a quick background into Qwil, which is a pretty cool communications tool. I mean, their entire objective is to make communication easy again, which I love that tagline because as an advisor myself, communication can unfortunately not be easy all the time, right? And then ultimately, right after we get through the boring intros, we'll hop into the software, talk about key features, key functionality, and then we'll show how it can interact with Quivr, what pain points we can solve, because that ultimately is the objective, right? If we're going to take on a piece of technology, we need to make sure that it's actually going to provide us that positive rate of return, either on our time or on the quality of service that we're providing our clients. But without further ado, again, I'm Steve, co-founder of Quivr. Ashley, if you want to share that real quick slide deck just to give an overview of who we are and why I think we're a little bit unique in the CRM space. Our entire objective is how can we help you run your business at peak efficiency? And the tagline below it, right? We are the CRM built by financial advisors for financial advisors. And why I think that is key is I'm a CFP, I'm a CFA, Will is a CFP, another one of our team members. And we built Quivr because we wanted a CRM that would actually help us serve our clients. And there wasn't one on the market that made us smile. So we built our own. Go ahead to the next slide. Again, built by advisors, for advisors. We speak your language. So you're going to notice features inside of Quivr where we're using the acronyms that you know and understand. And we know them too. We know what QCDs are, RMDs, ACATs. I mean, we've been there, we've done that. Every single feature in the system was designed by somebody who literally did that task. We had a great February, number 3 there. We were rated the top CRM in the industry by T3, a number 1 workflow engine. Mighty Mites won an award at the XY Planning Network conference, XY Live, earlier this year. So reception has been really good over our first couple of years. And then again, we're trying to streamline everything, make you as efficient as possible so that you can run your business at peak efficiency. We can hop to the next one. And a couple of the key features that Quivr is maybe a little bit different, takes a different spin on than some of the other CRMs. First thing we want to do when you get logged into that system is give you your command center, right? Your homepage. Really draw out the things that we need to do. What's going on in my firm? What do I need to do today? And what I like about this is for some of the larger firms, maybe participating on the webinar today, we typically identify 2 types of users in the CRM. One is the person that just needs to do stuff. Maybe that's your advisors who you're tired of pinging, saying, hey, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. And the second type of user we see are the operational minded folks. And what the homepage does is it allows your operational minded folks to create all those killer workflows, killer automations, and then just have them presented in a singular view for your doers. So that way we can ultimately increase accuracy of items getting done, making sure they're getting done correctly. And then also hopefully mitigate or even eliminate a large chunk of your inner office communications. The homepage is our attempt to blend the doers versus the operational minded folks. As we mentioned, our workflow tool was rated number 1 in the industry. And what I love about this is we didn't design this, just Quivr. We had about 10 operations directors, operations managers, CSSs, CSAs, solo advisors from firms with 1 to 50 people come in and tell us how we can make the workflow engine awesome. And I am very grateful for our users. And honestly, it's really good now and it's fun to use. It works clean. And again, it was rated the number 1 workflow tool in the industry. And not only am I proud of the workflow engine, but I think it just talks about our community where we have a user base now who wants to help Quivr get better. So our product roadmap is very exciting, and most of those items are actually not coming from the Quivr team. They're coming from our users. What's your pain point? How can we fix this? How do you have this business use case that we need to solve? How are other people doing it? The forums are getting busy in our community. Office hours, we host those 2 hours a week. We're getting that feedback from our users, and we're building features that we're all very proud of. And the workflow tool in Archer, right? That's the automation engine, is ultimately a couple of the features that we've been able to build because of our user base. Yeah, and then again, more than just software. So the Quivr community is huge. It's where we do all of our training, all of our support. You notice the screenshot on top right there. That's a snippet from the new user onboarding course. We have about 600 or 700 videos in there. Everything from what does this field mean to how can I build an automation that kicks off my offboarding workflow if a client fires us? Or how can I do a life insurance review for all of my clients? And we're teaching you how to do that. So not only are we teaching you maybe the blocking and tackling, but we're actually teaching you how to run the plays, how to design the plays. Office hours is awesome. It's every Wednesday. Me or Will Kaplan, again, he's a CFP who is obsessed with operations just like me. We're there. Come ask questions. If there's anything that we can do to help you be better, it's fair game. Support team, Ashley, who's also on this call from the Quivr team. She's amazing. I always get nervous that one of our advisors is going to try to hire her away from us. So we got to make sure that doesn't happen. But Ashley's on the support team handling tickets. Then again, like I mentioned, the knowledge base, we have to update this. I think we're up to 600 or 700 videos. But yeah, the support is much, much, much more than just software. And all users have access to all of these things. All right. And like I mentioned earlier, it's been really cool how we've been received by the industry. Quite a few awards, and we're looking to keep adding to the trophy case. Perfect. Kind of already talked about this one, but yeah. But without further ado, the real star of the show today isn't me. We have with us Laurent Gaillot, who founder, right? Is this your baby?
Yep. I am. No, with my partner and CTO. So we're two founders and building this communication platform for quite a few years now. But I'll go on, and then I'll continue.
Yeah. But today we're going to talk about a unique communication tool, Qwil. And when the Qwil team reached out to us to learn more about Quivr and potentially integrating, really the number one thing that they're trying to solve is to help you do compliant communication that's easy. And there's a number of reasons that Qwil grabbed my attention. For one, I'm a firm believer that you should only have your clients log into one portal, if that. If you try to have them log into 3 or 4 or 5 different places, good luck. If you can do that, I would love to have you write a masterclass for me on how you can get your clients to do that. But the idea with Qwil is, what if we just have one really simple way to communicate with our clients, from text messages to documents to, you name it. And then we just train those clients to be in one environment, one ecosystem. And then everything on our end, the advisor, right, our staff, our team, whomever, we can just push everything right there. So it caught my eye. I like how you described it too. It's kind of like a compliant WhatsApp that is more adoptable in the United States. That resonated with me. But before I pass it over and I let you start diving in and we get to the meat of this whole thing, I do want to say one thing. It's that Qwil might be a newer company to some of the attendees here that are US based, but you guys aren't new, right? You've been around for, I think, 8 years.
That's correct.
Perfect. 8 years. And I did get permission to say this, but you guys are profitable. You're cash flow positive. And the reason I share that is, I know as an advisor myself, right? I know that a lot of these, piece of technology that we might see the brand for the first time, at least me, one of the first things I'm thinking is, are they going to be around in 6 months? Are they going to get bought? Are they going to run out of money? Are they going to run out of funding? And what's good about you and your team is, now every business has risks, of course, but with you guys, I don't think we need to be quite as worried about that. Is that fair?
That's fair. No, we built a business before scaling up, and that's the reason we reached out. I'm coming to the US now.
I love it. Well, I'll pass it over to you. If you want to give a quick overview of Qwil, your objectives, then you can just dive into the product and we can start having some conversations.
Absolutely. That's great. Well, let me first try to share. Can you see it?
I can.
Perfect. So thanks, Steve. It was great to be alongside Quivr today. And we found you because your name was so similar to ours that we had to work together. So I'm Laurent, the founder and CEO of Qwil Messenger. So yes, we started 8 years ago with a simple premise: is how do staff engage externally, simply, securely, and with full compliance? It's not only about compliance, it's about security. And which ways do staff members have? You've got email, which is massively insecure. You've got SMS. Well, we're not in the 1990s anymore. And then you have WhatsApp, which was massively used in Asia and in Europe, but shouldn't be used. It's Facebook after all. So that's where Qwil Messenger came in. It needed to look and feel like WhatsApp. It needed to be invitation only, so that I knew that Steve and Ashley were the right people, so that you could easily share documents, easily chat, easily get signatures, but in the way that people want to communicate now, not in the way that IT departments decide that you should be communicating. So if you're seeing my screen in front of you, if you can confirm that again, no, not that I talk on an empty screen. It's a desktop and mobile app for both staff members and clients. It needed to be the same interface so that it is used commonly, both internally and externally. You'll notice that it is branded within. So I put your brand but on mobile. So it is within your community. I'll show some of the USP, but there's two user types, staff and clients, and of course, all the security and data record that you can imagine. So let me just show you where every user gets greeted by Qwil. On the desktop, on the left, I've got my staff version where you have a dashboard, which can be customizable. The clients have the same thing where you can actually put access to possibly a portal or news or banking information, for example, information that you want to make sure that your clients see. On the right, you've got a client version of a mobile app. If you are familiar to using WhatsApp or Messenger, it's exactly the way it should act. It's about 30 seconds onboarding. It can show you around it. You've got all the conversations. It's all one-to-one, many-to-many. So Steve, you can probably give more background on how you work with your clients, but I could imagine that you are going to invite a new prospect, bring them on board, bring in Ashley or another team member and manage these conversations in the same way as you manage it in your day-to-day life in a building. You bring in the right people at the right time, and it just makes it very easy for a client to engage. Some people want the desktop, people want the browser, and most people want the mobile at the same time, so that you have that personable communication without any of the hassle. On the left menu, and I'll go through, and I don't want to show all the features, do make sure that you organize a demo separately, and you can even start a trial. It takes about a minute to fill out a form. But when you're in the chats, it looks the way you would expect. Lots of conversations. You can drag and drop documents up to 50 megabytes and put reactions. Our emojis even move. You can request signatures by just drag and dropping, and they're extremely secure because it's the context of this conversation. You can jump on video calls. I'm talking very fast. I've had a few coffees today, but you can have summaries. We've embedded AI so that you can have summaries of all your chats that have taken place, so you can see. And that's probably in line with what you're doing, Steve, with Quivr, of peak efficiency. If you're one staff member and you have 100 clients, well, that's great, but sometimes you don't want to scroll up all their conversations. You want a summary in one place. If you're a bigger organization, you can actually use this AI on the left menu to have a summary across all your chats, because you might have gone on holiday. The conversations continue with a client or even internally, and you go, well, what has happened? That's where AI comes in. So those are all the chats and the functionality and all the flags and pin your message and the transcripts, and you can invite the right participants at the right time. It's the way you expect something to work, and that's 8 years in the making. So don't try to replicate it, but this is 8 years in the making to make it as seamless as possible.
And if you stay on the screen, I think one of the most underutilized, or maybe you briefed over or rushed over kind of quickly, was that Meet Now button. I have for sure been getting frustrated with maybe an older client who can't get into something, and I have the urge, like, I want to FaceTime them just to get it done, but I know I can't FaceTime them for not only compliance reasons, but I don't want them to have my cell phone number, and to just be able to hit that button, basically FaceTime them.
That's a great point. We have video meetings included. It is proprietary. You can always do, like we're used to Teams and Zoom, book and schedule a meeting with a client. But what we see the biggest use case is that conversation. When I'm chatting with Steve and I'm sharing a document, that's why we want e-signature in the same place. You might say, hey, Steve, do you have a few minutes now? And the Steve will say, yes, I've got a few minutes. Quickly jump on a call. I'll just I'll press that Meet Now button, and you are directly in a conversation. So I normally compare it to the way we used to work. So I'm slightly older, but when we used to work is we'd send emails back and forth, even internally, and then say, hey, I'll call you. We're fed up talking, chatting and sending emails. Let's chat, let's share the document, and then let's get that piece of work done straight away. And I think that's where the Meet button comes in and is very, very important. I can go back afterwards if there are any questions. Contacts is a very important element, and it matches the CRM and Quivr CRM. It's relationship groups. It's not only that you have two user types, you are defining the address book of every client and every staff member, because not all staff members should see all clients, and all clients should definitely not see all staff members, only the relationship group. Of course, when you're in a conversation, you can bring in the right people. So all staff can bring in other staff to help out and support the clients. That's the way real world works and CRM works, which we've replicated. So it's not free for all. And when you are within the contact group, let's say I've taken Benjamin Clark, you've got a shared chat, you can quickly just go straight into the chat from the contacts. File Manager is especially used by clients because they look at Outlook and think, this is my document repository. And I'll go, no, what email did you send that document? Well, it's all there. You can search it from the chat perspective, but I can go directly from this document and go straight into this conversation. Signatures by email, create a template. Everybody's familiar with DocuSign and alternatives. We like to think that we can actually replace lots of it because it's within the context of the conversation, not ad hoc by email. Scheduler is our Calendly equivalent. It's the same principle. We're a communication tool. Let's make it easy for clients to communicate, to book a meeting, whether it's a physical meeting, whether it's a Qwil Meet meeting or anything else, you can actually create it and link it up to your Google or your Outlook.
Sorry, my things go off. So one thing that I've noticed with pieces of technology is it's borderline impossible. It's just not going to happen. You're never going to have users of technology that want to use or need to use every single feature or functionality within your system, right? And Scheduler is one of those things where, I mean, I'm sure this is great, right? But a lot of people are like, my Calendly is $4 a month. I have all of my things set up. My link is everywhere. I don't want to make that change. But one thing that I think is really cool about this is, can you go back to the dashboard? You can still accomplish that easiness because you get to control this quick links box, right?
Yeah, I'll show you afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of you, but one thing I noticed when I see that feature is you just don't need them to go into there and create the events. If you're like, no, I just like my Calendly. It is what it is. I don't want to make that change. Just embed your links right there.
That's a really good point. We don't force people. We normally just go, it's there and it's an all-in-one package. You don't have to use every single one of them. In the same way with Qwil Meet, some people prefer using Teams or Zoom. That's fine. We normally say, well, if you are using Zoom, send that Zoom link in Qwil because one, you've made it more secure. And it's the context of a conversation. Let's make it easy for the client to go, well, I know where to go. It's directly into this conversation I was having with Steve. The same thing with Calendly. Yes, you can use that link and put it anywhere like you would with Calendly. You can actually also book a meeting directly within, I'm Sam here, but with Sam, with hours that he's specified within Qwil. But you don't have to use this feature. And I think what is also important is this is a staff view. I showed you on the mobile, on desktop, see something similar, but they don't have all the functionality. They can't start the video call. They can't activate Scheduler if you haven't used it yourself. So that's why you need two user types. But it's a very, very good point, Steve. We are offering the tools to make things more efficient, and we don't want to replace things that are not broken. If it works really well, keep at it. One other aspect is broadcast, is being able to blast off messages to all staff members if you're a big organization, but also all my clients or all clients. It might be events like this one today. It might be news. It might be timely news. It can actually be triggered by a CRM. For example, if you want to be more granular of sending a statement to a specific client on behalf of Ashley, you can actually do it through APIs and through integration. But this is a very easy way to actually blast out, for example, a newsletter to everyone. And it's not spam like email. This is in the context of the conversation. And now we're going to the boring bits. And tell me, if I speak too much. Compliance. So there's security and compliance. Compliance, everything is recorded into Qwil. You can search for all the conversations and you've got levels of permission to search for all my conversations, all my client conversations, or all conversations within Qwil and your organization within your brand. This is about control. So everybody talks about security and compliance, but when you're running a company, you want to know the tools. You give the tools to your staff members and your clients of how you want them to communicate. And it is your data that you need to have access. So when people are using WhatsApp, even a company that is not regulated, it's the same as using Hotmail and allowing your staff members to use Hotmail. You have no control what's happening. And that's a big theme that comes up over and over again in Europe. It's not that you might get fined, you might, but it's more going, I want to have a tool which is in my brand that I can actually control and know if something goes wrong, I have access to it. And of course, it is also in Qwir. And then to finish off very quickly, it's all managed on the admin side with one portal where you can invite a client to prospect in 30 seconds. First name, last name, email, mobile number. I know Steve is Steve. This is banking grade security. They receive an email, put a username, password, receive an SMS, and they're in. And then the staff member that has invited them or part of that client team will get a notification to say, Ophelia has joined, start a conversation. And that's as easy as it goes for that first meeting with a client. It could be face to face, and you are creating this personalized rapport in your brand, which you will never replicate by email. You've got all the integrations, you mentioned, Steve, the customization, the banner that we call it, or the welcome message, branding, terms and conditions that you have to specify for your clients to accept. So you can tick all the boxes, all the regulation in the US about using communication tools, and lots of boring security settings, which are required for very big companies and that you can actually click on. And that's probably more than I was expecting to tell you about it, but that is Qwil. I would say I'll just finish off just thinking before any questions or comments is this can be deployed in minutes. So it is enterprise grade where we have customers that have thousands of users, but we love smaller companies, and smaller companies will get Qwil, whether they go online or through us, start inviting all their staff members in minutes, invite their clients, and then just go, that's great. That's Qwil. And then the fun bit now, and help me here, Steve, is I'm now in Qwir. And it's great to have tools which work separately, which is Qwil, and you can do everything, but actually it integrates seamlessly. And that's where the power comes in. All the conversations get automatically logged in. And I'm here. I just look at the contacts and I'll do it different, to do it in a different order. I've got Robert Jones, want to invite him. He's not yet in. It's the same platform like you saw to invite a client with 2 factors. It's pre-populated with information that you will have in Qwir. You quick send, they receive the email, they're in. Once they're in, and I'll pick another Ophelia Quest, great client of ours. I've got Qwir Messenger here as a tab. I see all the conversations automatically there. I can go into the messages, participants, and they are all in. Of course, you can search from Qwil, but if you are not party of that conversation and you're just thinking, well, what's been happening with Ophelia? You have it all here. You can download the documents, the different details. So that's my monologue, as normally my colleagues normally say. But go for it. Questions, contributions, context in the US. I'm happy to answer anything.
For sure. So no questions right now, but I have some questions. So when we're talking about integrations, the things that people care about most is what data is going and what data is coming back, right? So what I like is you clicked on Ophelia, we can see all the communication right in there. That's awesome. One thing that people might be wondering is how do I make this display on my Qwir page? Very easy. How they made that little tab, that'll take you about 15 to 20 seconds. If you can't figure it out, we'll help you in office hours. So that's not challenging at all. So let's say we are getting onboarded. Let's say we are getting onboarded into Qwil. Are we able to extract all like the specific contacts and whatnot from Qwir and then have those invites get sent in mass? Do we have to go one by one? How does that work?
That's a great question. So probably the way it works, a little bit of both. So you can, like I showed you, invite manually, one by one from Qwir. We normally recommend do a few like this, or for a new prospect, for example, in a meeting. That's a good, just very easy way to actually invite that person because you are putting it in context of it's secure, compliant. Let's jump on. But when you have lots of clients, you will download the information from Qwir, which, as you saw, is first name, last name, email, mobile number, load it up in Qwil, and they all get the invitation in one go.
Okay.
So the onboarding is minutes, or if you've got all the information in one place, you can just invite in one go and then manage it like that.
And that's not challenging for Qwir users already, or people that are familiar with how Salesforce works. That's just creating a simple report with 4-5 columns, exporting to CSV, and then uploading it. So that's quick.
Absolutely. We've got a team here to help out on that one. Call it half an hour.
Okay. We did have a couple of questions. There we go. Outlook. Could you clarify? Does Outlook email integrate into Qwil?
No, we like to separate both tools. So what usually happens in the same way as probably Microsoft Teams has replaced internal communications by chat, this Quill actually replaces the internal to external communication by chat also. So, and you'll see it, and we have thousands of users. Is as soon as you place you provide the right tool to your client, that's how they are going to communicate. So we don't integrate to Outlook because one, email is not secure. So it's like, well, does portals integrate to Outlook? But it works side by side. But I think that's why also a CRM like Quivr is so important, because you want to actually have an overview of all your conversations, because there are multiple channels, including in person. And no, let's not forget, the phone call, it still remains an incredibly important tool when you are covering clients. So you just want to have all the clients, all the communications together.
Yeah. And I think maybe the root of that question as well is one thing that people tend to enjoy about Quiver is it doesn't matter how you're communicating with that client, whether it's me sending an email, somebody else sending an email, somebody making a call, a text, you name it. It all shows up in that activity timeline, which is a little bit to the right of your mouse. You know, those like upcoming and overdue, it's all blank. So
Yeah.
maybe the root of the question, and it might be a deficiency at this point, but we might be able to figure out a way around it, is if I have now people messaging in Quill, I might not have one source of truth for all communication because emails are going to happen. Let's just be real. Emails are going to happen. So maybe that's what we would need to figure out. But there are definitely ways, though, just right here, how you can look at Quill side by side with the timeline. Yeah, there's ways around. Maybe I'm wrong, Katie. If I'm missing your question or if I'm making an assumption that's inaccurate, please tell me. But you could also create a dashboard quick that I'd showed them both. You could add both of them to things like the meeting module, so you can see both of those.
So Steve, you're absolutely right. And I like the comment that you mentioned a few minutes ago was our development, especially when we work with platforms such as yours, CRMs, is what do users really want? Yes, we very focused. We're focused on the communication side and making sure that as opposed to email. Oh, I lost one of my AirPods, so apologies for that. It's secure so that am I back?
Yeah.
Is if I will tackle the email afterwards. But the development, absolutely, timeline. Here we have all the conversations in one go. These same conversations, we haven't got it as part of our connector, which is available on Salesforce. But that's something that we can work together. And I think that's where that feedback becomes really important, because we don't want to second guess where it's required. And especially when Quivr was built by financial advisors for financial advisors, where do you actually want it? And these are chats and these are activities. They could be notes, for example, on an activity, because that's the way you want it, or you're familiar with other products that actually blast up notes rather than these nice bubbles that go up and down. Everything is possible. We also have 60 APIs to blast out information. So everything is possible and is actually really relatively straightforward to do. It's more, we want to build something which actually, especially on the integration, that meets it. With email Outlook, you're right. I'm completely biased because I've been spending so much time on this product. What I normally say is WhatsApp replaced most of the social interactions. You don't send an email to your friends. You will send a WhatsApp or a messenger. And what we see happening with Qwil is the same thing. Just because you might send a few emails, but as soon as you want to send a document, then you have to start putting passwords or a link, or start using encrypted email, which is where the security comes in. And if you start adding friction to that email, which worked so nicely, then that's the time to actually start using a tool which ends up being easier in the long term. But absolutely, development is a straightforward edition.
And then Dylan had two questions. One is Qwil integrated with Quiver today? Yeah, we're in it. And we're logged into Quiver right now. We're on a contact. Qwil has been added to the tabs, right? Just so you control. All of our users own every page, right? If you want to edit something. So the Qwil Messenger tab, that blue text in the middle of the screen, that is not in your Quiver today. You just have to add a tab, which is not hard, like I said.
There's a setup, and there's you mentioned your community page. We haven't actually loaded up in your community page, but it's in our help desk. So there's this version. We're really keen on hearing more feedback. We've been a partner of Salesforce also for many years, and therefore we know Well, so yes, it's there to be used and there to provide feedback also.
For sure, which is a dangerous game because almost anything can be done inside of Salesforce. So it's a good point of how do we figure out we do that. Dylan, I love this question. We've seen other tools that end up jack of all trades, master of none. How is
Yeah,
this?
good one.
Was this actually good at all of these things?
So that's a really good one, and also one that we spend a lot of time internally. And I think the main focus is what's Qwil mission, and the one initially was to kill email. No, we hate the product, but it's about communication. And I would say that all the features that I showed on the side, other than the security of making sure that you invite the right participant very easily, and it looks and it's chat and it's document sharing, all the rest are just nice add-ons, because we realized from feedback that they needed to have a bit of e-signature and a bit of Calendly equivalent, and we might enhance these features. But you need to make sure of what is your challenge. And your challenge today is, how do I communicate easily? You can try SMS, try sending a document through SMS. Well, no, and that's one of the aspects, but also it's not secure. You're just trying to make it more compliant. So that's the challenge. So we definitely don't want to be the jack of all trades. No, we're not the CRM. People say, well, can you do a bit of CRM and logging other tools, or possibly integrating and doing email at the same time? We're not. We're a chat tool to make it secure. And we have add-ons, and whether you want to use them or not, they included in our price. Talked about it, but we only charge for staff members. And it's around $25 per staff member per month with unlimited number of clients. So we know what we are. And I think that's been the most important part of the last 8 years of making sure that we stay on track and we actually provide the functionality that is requested, not because we just like building stuff.
No, and that resonates, I think, with the Quivr team as well, right? The first year or two of development. We still have a couple Quivr users on the call, right? If you've been on the platform for a year or two, you'll notice that the purple buttons, the modules, those have gotten built out more and more, right? QCDs, income, RMDs, beneficiaries, right? Those have continued to get built out because, like what you're mentioning with Qwil, once you have the foundation built, which maybe your foundation, correct me if I'm wrong, was end-to-end secure communication in a singular tool. Once you have that built, it's, well, what if I just send a scheduling link, or what if I embed the ability for phone calls, right? Or the FaceTime feature, feature, but you already have that secure ecosystem built. So is a scheduling tool really that hard? I don't know. It looks fairly simple. If it was more complex, if people would charge more for it. But I do think that's interesting. Once you have that ecosystem built, then it's okay. How can I make the communication process a little bit easier? And then you kind of get those maybe ancillary features added on over the course of time. And that, I think, is a testament as well to the fact that you've been around for 8 years, because I doubt that you had video call in year one.
It's an interesting one. Video, most people don't want to pay for video because it's a commodity. And a lot of these ad hoc features like the Calendly equivalent or video end up being commodities after a certain amount of time. So I wouldn't pay for Calendly, for example. I'm really struggling with my ears today. And we normally look at it. What are the main features that need to be used and need to be replaced and have value? And any other value, that's where firms will pay more or less. But we just need to focus on what we want to do, and based on feedback of users. And the good example was a dashboard that I showed you initially. That's a new addition, or AI is using AI so that it makes people more efficient, so that I can just run around saying I'm an AI company now because I'm using AI to summarize conversations. That's not the purpose of the company and our mission.
You're trying to get me going, aren't you? No, I love it. No other questions have come in. So that's totally fine. Couple quick hitters. So pricing, you mentioned it's about $25 per user per month, and that's your team.
Per staff. So for the business plan, it's $25 per staff user per month with unlimited clients.
Perfect. So team of 3 with 200 clients, $75.
That's it. And we try to make it as efficient as possible.
I love it, and easy. Okay, if we want to learn more, how do we get in touch? How do we do a demo? What would be the next steps for people interested in Qwil?
So there's a website, qwilmessenger.com. You can easily contact us there. You can send me a message through Steve, Ashley, or directly. No, I think probably the details will be shared afterwards. So as easy as possible. So we can share a video. Normally organize a demo, whether you started a trial or do a demo, and then one of my team members jumps on and understands your setup and to see if it makes sense. And then we normally organize a 30-day pilot, so that we just make sure that the onboarding, even the clients that if you want to load up lots of clients, even the Quivr setup, that takes a few minutes. Will help you along the way.
I love it. Anything else we should know about Qwil?
No, I think I probably talked too much, and that's what my team members normally say. But I would say, with Qwil, you just need to try it. So it takes a minute to get your own Qwil, to put your own brand, start inviting your staff members, and then start realizing the efficiencies that you can bring in a very short amount of time. And I think a lot of the efficiencies in your business, because we work with thousands of advisors, is how do I make these communications externally as easy as possible? And then you can actually start plugging the systems together like we have the CRM, looking at the automation, looking at how I can replace processes that have been put in place because of the wrong technology. And once we have that secure channel, which is exactly what you described so nicely, then you can start thinking, how can I actually improve my setup? And I would like to do this, I would like to do that. And that becomes really fun for us also, because then we really see a use case.
I love it. Awesome. And then Quivr, quivrcrm.io. Google us. We'll be following up with attendees and registrants afterwards, of course. But if you're curious in Quivr or any curiosity in Quivr, want to learn more, our website has a ton of information, a lot of videos. Our YouTube channel has a ton of videos. Link, of course, on the website as well. But no, this is great. Thank you, Laurent. I appreciate that. I think Qwil is a pretty cool product that works well with our system.
Sounds good. Well, thank you very much for your time. And yeah, looking forward to any follow-up questions. And we'll contribute to a few videos on your site, Steve and Ashley. So thanks a lot for the invitation and allowing us to show our product, our new product in the US.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. Until next time.